Hi guys, this is Mom Eve and welcome to another Do the Right Thing tip for all of you. What I address in this writing tips series are the errors that I usually see when I check students' output. So hopefully you will be able to learn something new, or if not, you will strengthen what you have already acquired in the past. Because repetition is one of the keys to nail an idea onto your long-term memory. But before we move on to tip number 2, let us have again review tip number 1. Okay, so for tip number 1, remember that we mentioned that we have to use a serial comma before the word end in a series. For example, I went to the market, paid the telephone bill, and watched a movie yesterday. So now for do the right thing tip number 2. Pronouns should be consistent with the antecedent. This may sound easy, but forgetting this rule is one of the usual errors of students in writing. Even those who are in senior high school are prone to shift pronouns without an appropriate antecedent. So let's take a look at this example. This is one of the reflections submitted by my students last week when I asked them to write about what they have learned. So let us read all together. I was pleased to learn different patterns of paragraph development. It was my first time hearing terms like process analysis and exemplification. These paragraph development patterns will help me make my essays more convincing and appropriate depending on why I wrote them. As a reader, knowing these patterns will assist us in understanding what we are reading better. I also learned about the different organizations of data. So the pronouns, if we'll take a look here, the pronouns are I, it, us, and we. Okay, so I may have other comments about this particular reflection, but I will just focus on comments that are related to tip number 2. Okay, so let us evaluate whether the use of these pronouns are consistent with their antecedents. The first one, I, refers to the writer. So since this is a reflection, it is understandable if the writer did not write his or her name. Okay, so this one is correct. Second, the pronoun is it. This refers to the previously mentioned previously mentioned in sentence number 1. So it refers to the learning of the different patterns of paragraph development. It does not refer to the patterns of paragraph development, but on the learning of the different patterns of paragraph development. So in this case, it is the correct pronoun. So another pronouns used in the second to the last sentence are us and we. What are the antecedents? Is it reader or a reader? If that is the case, then that is singular. So it does not agree with the antecedent. Us and we, these pronouns do not agree with the antecedent reader, because us and we are plural pronouns. So how should we rewrite this so we can be consistent with the antecedent? So we need to change, the first one is we can change us to me and we to I. In this case, I have already changed as a reader. Knowing these patterns will assist me in understanding better what I am reading. I also changed Look at the first one. The word better is after the word reading, but here I changed the location. I put the word better after understanding because I think the word better describes understanding and not reading. Okay, so we can also rewrite it this way by changing the antecedent. So we will not change the pronoun. In the previous correction, we changed the pronoun, but here we will not change the pronoun. We'll just change the antecedent. So instead of a reader, we change to, for example, grade 11 readers or other nouns that are plural. So as grade 11 readers, knowing these patterns will assist us in understanding better what we are reading. But in this case, if we do this, the second correction, we need also to change the last sentence because it uses again the pronoun. It uses again the pronoun I, but we need to provide the antecedent for the particular pronoun. So you have to revise the last sentence again. So that will be more complicated than the first type of correction. So you may opt to do the first correction. But if you really need to change the antecedent to plural because that is the idea that you want to give, then do so. What you just have to do is to be consistent with your pronoun. You just have to remember our tip number 2. Pronouns should be consistent with the antecedent. So that's it. See you next meeting for another writing tip. This is Mom Eve. Have a great day.